So Chairman Asiedu Nketia are dropping some exclusive interview on a Chairman Wontumi ne 20 years jail term or kwako serve. Abusuya Chairman Wontumi ene Asiedu Nketia drop a shocking revelation on illegal mining and oil. So Chairman Wontumi sa 20 years jail term or o deserve it. And wasan so silence NPP for HSE omo kase President Mahama pese o arrest omo kasa etia aban no omo pese omo hold the NDC government no accountable na HSE enye sanso enetie o hwe Chairman Wontumi ne investigations na ekoso way back 2013 asa na illegal mining case no Samana boy de na ekoso na Chairman Wontumi ebrebi yakokohu 50 kilogram of gold and $7 million bi on the side abusuya enne Asiedu Nketia a silence sa top NPP officials and corruption ne partner in crime omoye involved in ne corruption deals abusuya enye asam keto akra entino Asiedu Nketia a true hot fire edi akwako pimo ewo NPP headquarters right now no all kase Chairman Wontumi say judge no ruling now the barbontin no sa pepepe intimema obi entina baby enkase Chairman Wontumi aya jeli no enye ne kwan so ano no na ono ankasa ne NPP for the lives of Professor Frempong Oboanten Samuel Jinapo. If I stand to be corrected, yes, one Jinapo bonten ebeka as a Chairman Wontumi ne illegal mining na abusuya oni document bia or the back sa mining na nti enne Asiedu Nketia finally waba aba be break silence on Chairman Wontumi ne 20 years ne yanko na yanko tie ne exclusive interviewer or the two jai ba ya de aka ebeto am so unsubscribe ya subscribe na hit on the notification bell no so send any update be ebe drop no wonsa ebetumi akabi aha Gossip Politics TV. So
those who are pushing this type of narrative, they want to tempt President Mahama to make some declaration in order to convince people that he's not coming, which may end up, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So the same thing that President Rawlings was subjected to. They knew he was hugely popular and all that. President Mahama too is hugely popular now. So, and if you hear the narrative of NPP now, they are not discussing policy. They are trying to use this third term as a tool for mobilization of their base. So every debate that they engage in, they add President Mahama's third term. He's jailing this, he's jailing that because he wants to do a third term. He's doing this thing, he's doing that thing because he wants to do a third term. Can't we see it?
Are you suggesting that the MPP is behind this third term agenda push the narrative?
I'm very, very sure. Very, very sure about that. Why? Because Wontumi is arrested for crimes that he has committed. How come in the talking about Wontumi's arrest, you are implying that President Mahama wants to arrest all the outspoken people so that when he declares third term, nobody can challenge? So they are looking for some tool for mobilization. So that's why, a drowning man will hang onto any straw. They are now trying to use the conviction of Wontumi, which they themselves know is on solid legal grounds with abundant evidence. But nevertheless, they want to use the jailing of Wontumi as a tool for mobilization. The same way they want to get a tool out of this third term and use it to mobilize their base.
The party is hitting the streets on Thursday. They say it's selective justice.
Now I've been saying that is the worst thing any leadership of any political party can subject its party to. It's good for us.
How?
is painting them as people who are responsible for Galamsey. And because Wontumi must have used the resources to finance NPP, they feel obliged to defend him even when there is evidence that he has done the wrong thing. That is what is happening. Didn't you hear Party Hienska? You heard it. That was when the Galamsey was at its height. Party Hienska, that was it. So they feel that Wontumi, having done the wrong thing and shared the money to finance the party, it is their obligation to defend him, whether the public says he has done right or wrong. And those who have followed this case started somewhere in 2013, all right? When President Mahama put together the ministerial
Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining.
Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining. So somewhere in May and June 4th, they raided Wontumi's Galamsey site in this Tano Nimre forest. And that falls under, I think, Victor Mesu. Victor Mesu was the DCE for Asankragwa. He invited that task force to go and invade Wontumi's place. In fact, when he got the pictures taken about how Wontumi was devastating the forest and polluting Tando River, he brought the pictures. He came to show me those pictures as the General Secretary at that time. And then he invited the task force to go in there. They went, invaded Wontumi's site, burnt the structures, demolished everything there, and then, drove away. He was having more than 100 foreign nationals there and was trying to build a facility to even fabricate and assemble equipment for the Galamsey. So all these things were vandalized. So he waited till NDC lost election in 2016 and he went to court, claiming that the state had vandalized his property and he was claiming $43 million. Then the case proceeded and the judgment was delivered somewhere in 2019 when Nana Akufo-Addo was in power. A judgment was delivered in Secondary High Court. I have all the case.
You seem to have really followed this.
I have the details. I have followed it because when Mesu brought the pictures, he showed them to me as a General Secretary at that time.
But this latest trial that convicted him was based on a 9-month operation.
You wait. So that case was judged. It is because it was a civil case filed by Wontumi to take money by way of judgment debt from the government. And it failed. You know some of his claims? He said that he had legal license to mine. And so it was wrong for that task force to vandalize his operations. Number two, as at the time the operation took place, he had 50 kilograms of pure gold, which was taken away. And that he had about $7 million or so, which was also taken away. Made some claims. Then, when the matter went to court, the court concluded that based on the evidence, the pictures, the drone pictures and other things, it was clear he was doing mining using a prospecting license. So he didn't have the license to mine. So he was doing illegal mining. It's in the verdict. Number two, he couldn't prove the existence of the 50 kilograms of gold and the other thing, because I'm not a lawyer, but the court said that he needed certain strict proof about the source and all that. And he claimed that it was gold he had mined and was preparing to sell and so on and so on. So his own statements implicated him. Because one, if you are doing prospecting, you are not mining gold. How come you got 50 kilograms of gold ready for sale?
Yeah. In the interest of time, your conclusion is that there was enough basis to convict him.
So the civil case ended with the conclusion that Wontumi was engaged in illegal mining. He was misusing prospecting license to do full-scale mining, and that the vandalization that took place was justified because it was government which was trying to clamp down on illegal mining. So, but because it's a civil case filed by Wontumi, it means that the court couldn't have convicted him on any criminality. And so, after the judgment, the government at that time could have proceeded to arrest and prosecute Wontumi. But what we saw was for the sitting president to now come and declare to the public that Wontumi was not engaged in any illegal mining. And so it was the government slipping over something that could have been done. He could have been convicted during Addo's time. And the minister for, what do you call it?
Natural resources.
Mines at that time, he said it. Frimpong Boateng also said it.
Yeah.
You see, so all this evidence was unearthed during the time NPP was in power. So now, if Naimos had gone to the same place, and when you listen to him, he was saying that the group they got there, which was mining, he sent them there to do reclamation. Do you do reclamation at prospecting sites? Is it not a mine area where you have to reclaim? So who mined there in the first place for you to go and do reclamation?
Just go to so your point is that the NPP should not be defending.
They shouldn't be defending criminality. So the more they do this, the more they take away their right to promise Ghanaians that they will be fighting Galamsey at all.
I mean, just before we wrap up, you made the point that I need to challenge a bit, because you said the NPP is responsible or engineering orchestrating this third term thing because of the history. However, I mean, there are many senior folks in your party who also believe that there are people within your party who are feeding this into the presidency here. For example, Fifi had said recently that, quote, "It saddens me when I see so much sycophancy creeping into our party. Some people seem to believe that singing the praise of our leader is the only way that they can survive politically." Yeah. That is why you hear calls for a so-called third term. It is nothing but pure sycophancy and bootlicking of the highest orders. That's people in your party.
Somebody can throw a hook, line, and sinker, and another person will swallow.
So NPP threw it.
And I'm telling you that I know where this thing is coming from.
Asiedu Nketia.
The branch executives will proceed to elect the constituency executives, and it's on and on and on to national. And so now that we are not going to use only the 999 in the branches, what we do is that the data we use to elect the 999, we are now going to allow them to participate in the primaries. So it's not going to be difficult.
What about people who haven't heard this will now want to register to join the party? Is a path for that to happen?
Yeah, you know, in every election, there is a cutoff point for registration. That's why you see that in the national elections, there are times where you close the register so that you can get the data with which to plan and execute the elections. And so it is a decision that we have to take.
Okay.
One way of looking at it is that the register we have now was what we began these elections with. Mm-hmm. So if we consider these internal elections plus the primaries as the same electoral process, then we will use the existing register. If we consider the internal elections separately from the primaries, then we may have to open the register for some people to register before we get into the presidential and parliamentary primaries. But whatever happens, there will be a point where we will close the register so we can prepare.
Can I walk tomorrow to any party office and say I'm going to pick up a party card and pay my due?
Right now, because we are doing the internal elections, we have closed the register.
Okay.
And so, unless we finish. But when we finish, we will now have to take a decision whether we are using the same register for the presidential and parliamentary primaries, or we will open registration to allow those who were not up to the voting age as at the time we were closing the register, but have now attained that age maybe to put in their name. That is a decision that will be made by the party itself.
And so you are confident, speaking as a national chairman, that the NDC will implement this prescription of the Supreme Court in a year?
We don't have an option. It
must be done.
It is the law.
So because the NPP takes a complete different position, that this is not practical.
No, they are not caught by it. It's practical. We've done it before.
Forward, they believe it.
We've done it before. But people are confusing these current internal elections that are ongoing. But the ruling doesn't affect the internal elections. Truth be told, if they had directed that we should apply it to these internal elections, it is going to be very cumbersome. Because in the primaries, presidential and parliamentary, you have one position each. So several people are contesting. So when you are printing the ballot paper will be for one position, and then you list the various contestants on the ballot paper. Now, when you come to maybe the National Congress or constituency elections or regional elections, you may have as many as 28 or 30 positions. And each of the 28 or 30 is being contested by several people. So if you want to apply the one man, one vote to that type of election, then you may have to do 28 separate elections. So if you are doing for constituency chairman or regional chairman or national chairman today, then your ballot paper will contain the names of the contestants for national chairman, and then you vote. Okay. But if you want to combine all of them and conduct the election in one day, either you have to get a ballot paper with 28 sections, each section containing as many contestants as have filed. You see, so the ballot paper will be maybe 12 feet long. The first one, chairmanship. Then you put all if there are 5 people contesting as chairman, you put A, B, C, D. Then you come to vice chairman. Then you list them. Vice chairman number 2, you list them. Vice chairman number 3, we have 5 vice chairmen. Then before you get to general secretary, then you list the number. After that, national organizer and all that. So if you want to put all of them on one ballot paper, it will be about more than a meter. Okay. So that one would have been difficult to implement. But when it comes to
parliamentary and
presidential, it's a straightforward matter. You have, like you do in the main general elections. You vote for presidential candidate and you vote for parliamentary candidate. So if you open the polling booth one day, the party member will go and then he will pick a ballot paper for presidential candidates and vote for a presidential candidate. Then after that, he comes to pick parliamentary paper and choose one of the parliamentary candidates.
You've actually raised a very important way. It's possible then that as a party decides on this, you now have the parliamentary primary and the presidential primary possibly on the same day.
Together. And that is what we have been doing for quite some time now. And I warned NPP that the way they were approaching their elections, if you vote and choose the presidential candidate first, by all means, during the campaigning for presidential candidate, you see some of your parliamentary candidates joining the campaign of a candidate who is different from the eventual winner. So when one person wins, then there will be a demand by his supporters to purge the party of all his opponents, the MPs who didn't campaign for him, other candidates who didn't campaign for him, and it will divide the party. I predicted this one before they did that top-down approach. When they announced it, I told them I think I spoke about it at UTV also, and I warned them that the results of what they are doing will be an attempt to purge the party, which will lead into the party breaking up into factions.
You think that is happening with the NPP?
Precisely, that is what is happening now.
In what form? Because
the supporters of Kennedy, they are complaining that they are being sidelined. People have vowed to take them away from the party, the supporters of Alan Chairman, and all those things. So it's a natural thing. If you know about it, and when it begins, you can see where they are going. And then I told them about it. They never listened.
On this Supreme Court verdict...
That's why I've been lobbying to become the acting national chairman.
As for the
so that
MPP?
Yes.
Acting national chairman?
Yes, so I can...
He wants to be the acting national chairman of the MPP.
And then the national chairman of
the NDC. Yes. So you can govern both parties.
I can be advising them.
I see. Very fascinating points indeed. But on this Supreme Court verdict... One of Asiedu Nketia's biggest attractions, your appeal, is your hold and affinity to the base of the party, the grassroots. They love you. It's also why when Asiedu Nketia is contesting in any party elections, you do this, because anybody who challenges you, is simply digging his own grave, because the outcome is almost foregone. With this particular outcome of the Supreme Court verdict, doesn't that strip you of that appeal, that base that almost eats from your palm will no longer be there, because now it's open up to everybody else who is a cadre member?
But you are saying that the base, what do you mean by the base of the party? It is the grassroots. And the delegates are their representatives.
Okay.
So the bigger...
But you lose the delegates' call. The call that you've always ridden on to win, that call would now be diluted with a bigger number of possibly 2 million people.
Why? But in any case, what election are you contemplating? This is not going to affect chairmanship election. And I have not indicated whether I'll be contesting the presidential primaries or not. So what?
You have no intention of expanding
what election?
You have no intention of expanding this. If it's good for the presidential, you have no intention of bringing it to the national election level.
I've already told you the complications.
Okay, if that happens.
If that happens, it will be a very complicated election. It cannot be simple.
So by yourself, you don't think that you could export that practice to that because of the impracticality of it?
In fact, the demand of those who went to court does not even affect, it's not in the area of how we NDC people choose our leaders. Okay. Because if we choose a national chairman, he's not a national chairman of other people who are not NDC members. So we decide how to choose our national chairman. If we are choosing our general secretary, it is the members of the party who decides the method. And we have decided through our constitution that this is the way we are going to do it. So a court would not want to compel us to do that, to do it differently. So the primaries is being, it's been challenged because, as I have said,
when you elect the person,
any person who emerges from the primaries is a potential statesman. Not if he becomes a president, he's a president for the whole country. So the whole country must be interested in how he begins the journey to become the president. If you elect a candidate, parliamentary candidate, he has a potential of becoming a member of parliament for the whole country. And so the whole country ought to be interested in how his election begins.
If this doesn't affect Asiedu Nketia's grassroots appeal, is that a confirmation that you stand for re-election as chairman?
I'm saying that...
I'm asking an independent question now.
No, but let me tell you, your question itself is contradictory. Because you are saying that my grassroots appeal.
Yes.
So the closer I get, the election gets to the grassroots, the better it is for me. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I concede that. That is why I'm asking a follow-up question then. Because obviously this ruling won't affect internal party elections at the branch, regional, constituency, national. Only primaries, right?
Let me answer your question.
So I'm asking you, will Johnson Asiedu Nketia stand for re-election as national chairman?
Any decision I take would have no relationship with the ruling at all. That's why I want you to separate your question
I'm asking an independent question because we're talking about party organization for retention funds.
We have been through this thing with you several times.
No, this is
when I am responsible for conducting elections. I don't indicate my intentions until I'm done with branches, region, constituency, and regional. Because the moment you mention your intentions, then you weaken your credibility. If you go now to go and conduct the branch or constituency elections, people will accuse you that you are selecting constituency executive who eventually come and vote for you.
Because they'll be from the delegates that will vote for you.
So that is why, if you have watched me for over these 20 years that I've been in the leadership of the party, I'm about always the last person to declare my intention, either for re-election or election to a different position or what, because it is dangerous for the party. We need to be able to maintain the confidence that is necessary for a leader to be able to conduct the internal elections.
So I guess then the only time we'll know is when they open nominations for the national positions.
Yes.
National chairman.
Then you'll be able to either know or guess what I'll be doing.
So if I'm guessing, General Mosquito, national chairman, has told us tonight that, well, you will know until nominations are open.
That time, yes.
But there are many people, your followers, who want to rest easy. They want to rest easy. They want to know and, just rest easy.
You see,
you don't want to give them an inkling.
One thing I hold dearly, which I am going to try to push, is that this nation needs a cut-off period for campaigning, starting of campaigning and closing of campaigning. I have been an election observer in several countries, including Europe and other places. And there was a particular country I visited, I think Denmark. They have 3 months for campaigns. Before the 3 months, you can't campaign. After 3 months, when the election results are declared, they give you 3 days to remove all your campaign billboards, posters from the city. If you don't do it, the city authorities will do it and they will surcharge the party. So if they have 4 years, then 3 years, 9 months is available for the government to govern. And then they just limit the campaign period for 3 months. So, I mean, we have if it is about national chairmanship, we have about 4 months to go. If it is about presidential primaries, we have more than 1 year to go. So why should anybody be worried about knowing what I'll be doing?
The last point on the internal elections, the party issued directives for, and I remember last time you were here, one of the key concerns you had was people in government, but also holding party positions. You wanted them to focus on one and give your all. And so I see that then eventually culminates into a decision of the party to say, if you have intention to contest in the party position, 6 months before the elections, resign.
Yeah.
What's the state? Because it's now 5 months to the elections, if you like, the national elections. We've passed that deadline mark, if you like. Has any of them come to resign?
So many of them who want to contest have resigned.
And
those who have not resigned have indicated that they are not interested in contesting.
And just to confirm that the youth deployment minister was on my show and said here that he has no intention of running again. So he will focus on his government position. He made it public, but in terms of resigning quietly from the past, have you seen any come to you, resignation letters?
Yes.
Okay. Who has
but
resigned?
They will not write to us to resign.
Okay.
Because they write to their employers. Okay. We are not their employers. So
those
if you want to resign, resign. The letters that will come to us will be resignation from your position
in the party.
But that is not the demand. The demand is that if you want to contest, resign from the government position. So the letters will not come to us.
But you're aware of if...
Yes, I'm aware of a couple of them who are...
Would you want to share a few who you are aware of?
Oh, I'm aware of the regional chairman for Eastern Region, for instance, Mike Oliver Kevo has resigned, and he's close to me, so he shared it with me even before resigning.
Okay. And because he wants to contest
his
position again in the party.
Maintain his position as a regional chairman
of the party. And let's talk a bit more now about the government. Now, if you finish reorganizing, you're organizing to retain power.
Sure.
But even if you have the best people, your performance will determine whether you win or not.
Yeah.
What's your verdict, a year and a half on into your administration, of the way your government, the government that you, of course, your party formed, is handling the affairs of state?
I'm happy about what we have been able to achieve so far. I'm praying that we should be able to maintain the pace or even improve upon what we have done, and it will not be difficult for us to retain the seat. What pleases you the most? So you're happy. What pleases you? The fundamentals in the economy, because the stabilization in the economy is the key prerequisite for you to achieve anything. If the economy is not stabilized the way we have tried to do, you can't do anything. So we've gotten control over the depreciation of the cedi. We've gotten control over inflation rate, and these two key parameters. And then our debt to GDP ratios, our recurrent expenditure versus total expenditure, and all the key indicators are pointing to the right direction. And those are the fundamentals which form the prerequisite for economic takeoff. Because if you want to invest to create jobs, okay, you need capital. The capital you go in for, the interest rate must be below a certain point for you to be able to invest and make profit. Now, the interest rate cannot be fixed arbitrarily. The interest rate is always related to the inflation rate. So once you have a low inflation rate, you are able to fix a lower bank rate and lending rate and all that. And then you can take money and invest and then make profit. And the more businesses make profit, the more they are able to expand and create jobs and so on. So that is the beginning point. That's why we are focusing on tackling the fundamentals. Then apart from that, there is the whole area of creating the enabling environment that includes provision of the right infrastructure. That is why we are focusing so much on the road construction and other, infrastructure projects that will create an environment.
So that's a big push
for environment. Yes.
But the accusation against your government and a man that you put your head on the chopping block for, we'll talk about that, when you yourself recently had disclosed how you got him to become the minority leader. He's now the finance minister. The accusation against him is that you guys are not spending, and that's the only reason why the economy seemed to be stabilizing. And big push was 30 billion budgeted for this year. You spent 6 billion. That's a huge gap there, mid-year.
We haven't gotten to the end of the year. Mostly procurement takes some time, but without procurement, you can't spend. So if you are beginning projects that will cost a certain amount, the first quarter that you will be going through procurement processes, you shouldn't be spending because there's no contract for you to spend on. And then once procurement is done, then performance will begin, certificates will be prepared, and then payment can follow. So I believe that even 6 billion is not too small. As work gets done, and we are getting to the end of the year, you have certificates that you can honor. If it is about the money not being available, is another ball game altogether. But if it is about the money sitting there, but spending it is the issue with our critics, they should know that we can spend 100 billion in 1 month, can't we? But you need to spend it appropriately. There must be value for money. You must pay for work done and all that. We are not giving money for advance payment, mobilization payments where people take the money and run away with. That's not what we are doing. Perform and we pay you. And so that shouldn't be a problem.
You're clearly happy with your performance. If you have to score yourself 1.5 years in out of 10, what would you give you?
I'm not in the business of scoring. You know, I've never answered such questions.
Why?
With you. So don't continue asking the question that I'll never answer.
No, I'm curious.
I say I'm happy we've done enough.
But you don't want to rate your performance?
Because I'm not a professional statistician, even though I know about statistics.
You're one of the first people to be licensed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. You're not a novice.
Yes.
And I must add, in this business of economics.
I haven't done the work. I must make a pronouncement based on an assessment that I've done with facts. So when I mention a specific figure, I know that when you add A, B, C, D, it takes you to that figure. But if I haven't done that, I shouldn't be guessing. But from a rule of thumb position, I can tell you that we are very satisfied with the work that...
Having stated that, are you concerned about the potential of complacency setting in? You have another election coming in 2020. It's far off. I mean, but as they say, 1.5 years is not far in politics at all. A lot of the government people I speak to, all of them are very confident that you're doing well. In fact, if you read the Afrobarometer survey that was recently done, your approval rating, the president's approval rating, of course, which is a result of what you're talking about, is in the 70s. That's the last one. Yeah. It's very, very good. 71% of Ghanaians approve of how President Mahama and NDC are governing the country. But the problem with this is, for 1.5 years, that's probably the highest you've had. aren't you concerned that this could feed complacency?
No, it depends on your attitude. And within government, the president is not giving room for any appointee to feel complacent. We want to push as hard as possible so that we end this term with a very impressive record. So that is what we are working.
I mean, I asked that question because of the statement that was recently released by the NDC Council of Elders, and something they said, quote, "The council notes with concern the growing unease among sections of the party and the wider public regarding reports of premature presidential campaigns and related political activities by individuals and groups within the party." And they go on to talk about focusing on delivery.
Yes.
And why this is distracting from that objective. Isn't that what they were pointing at? That people are already taking their eyes off the big ball.
If they had kept quiet about that, that is what will work into complacency. But I'm happy that you yourself, you're admitting that when they saw some development like that, they spoke about it and then sought to correct what they thought was beginning. And so we are on course.
Do you share their concern? That, quote, council, they noting the concern, growing unease among party, wider public regarding premature presidential campaigns, related political activity.
There were rumors about certain ministers having problems with their colleague ministers and so on. I thought that was what. In fact, some of them was almost nearly played in the public domains.
One in particular one that played out was the finance minister versus the agric minister.
That was why
back and forth exchanges. People suggested that it was because of ambition.
That was why a responsible council of elders had to step in, and so you haven't heard about those things again.
So you think this killed it?
Sure.
I mean, in fact, there are those who also said, one of the people they were also pointing out was you, that because you were doing thank you tour as a ruse to put up your presidential campaign.
Those who said that were either ignorant about how a party is run, or they were simply being mischievous. If I was campaigning.
So Chairman Asiedu Nketia na yete ne nka se all drop a hot fire on Chairman Wontumi chese wa cause some fear and panic bi ewo NPP nkofo a omonte Chairman Wontumi 20 years na okwa serve ewo jail no abusua we ne nsema Chairman General to dia beda masesamo je pene kokotiza ensemo edema aha gossip politics TV so